G'day punters, welcome to the Deep Dive, the show that's going to take the best of the Betfair live wagering data and marry it up with the extensive puntingform.com.au sectional data to review the weekend that produced a little bit of everything. We're very happy to have on board one of the data scientists that we love and treasure, Josh Kadlec-Cavanagh. JKC, how was the weekend for yourself, my man?
Not too bad. Found a couple, made a couple of terrible bets. But yeah, that's life. That's the data.
What were the terrible bets?
Terrible bet was I thought Russian Camelot just had it, and I didn't really factor in the gate and just the fitness. It's gone super. The other terrible bet, well, it wasn't terrible, but I should have really backed for a place Bonvicini in the race 3 at Flemington, which pretty brazen run. Went super first up last time. Mara and Eustace, we'll get into that later, but Mara and Eustace, first up trainers, God, they're sort of firing coming into.
We'll get to the greatest first up trainers maybe ever outside DVDs, Ellis and Zara, who won race 4 with Victoria again. Wow. They're freaks first up. Fresh, yes.
Standing.
Curls, how are you, big guy?
Yeah, well, mate. Just enjoying the sunshine in Queensland.
The sun's out down here today in Victoria. Guys, as you can see, I've just peeled out the blind. What's going on here? Beautiful day. Still got a jumper on. Nice day yesterday. Okay, able to get to the beach. Didn't want to go in the water though. Very, very cold. Where do we want to start today, Peter?
Well, let's start with the main event. The Group 1, the Makybe Diva. Wowee. Because, I mean, there's so many different ways you can approach this race, but how about, Jack Dickens, you start with the speed of the race?
Well, the overall figure for the race is they've run an 8.6 above the all-average puntingform.com.au benchmark figure, right? The last 3 editions, so that's Gatting, Grunt, and Humidor, 17.1 Gatting, 17.3 Grunt, 15.5 Humidor. So they've gone extremely slow here. Extremely slow. Very hard to make ground, as was the sort of pattern through the day. Sort of to what Josh was saying, I don't think backing Russian Camelot was a bad bet. I did the same thing. I think we've backed the best horse in the race, the best run in the race. We've beaten everything but a really strong weight for age miler with the good, strong Sydney form, which shone for the last 3 races of this card. It's been an absolute peach by Mark Zara, by one of the great rides of all time, has knocked us off. And we were forward, cast, no cover the whole way. So I don't regret backing Russian Camelot. I do regret not saving on Fierce Impact. I got a little bit probably overexcited about Russian Camelot. I think it's easily the best horse out of the race, easily the best horse from the day. I think it's going to Cox Plate. We'll get to that in a second. What did you boys think of the ride? Lots of different opinions here. Pistol?
I mean, I guess the fact that he sat 4 wide without cover and still kept the horse comfortable and it's still almost won is probably credit to how good the jock is. You know, in hindsight, when you're looking at sectionals, times and splits, it's easy to say he could have rolled forward and, you know, potentially just allowed the horse to stroll up. But then again, that could have changed the race speed as it is. So maybe it doesn't pan out that way if he opts to do that. So we're not getting a price on Russian Camelot again, unless it's in a serious Group 1 and there's some other serious contenders.
Josh, thoughts?
Yeah, I thought the ride by Ollie was terrific. I think there were some comments going around early in the week that he was going to try to ride it more positive. I can't remember if that was true or not. But yeah, super ride. Was a slow pace, so it was like entitled to do pretty well from that position. Like being wide on a fast pace, it would have toughened it up a lot more. So I don't know how much fitness. There'll be some fitness that comes through the run, but not as much as if there was a truer tempo run. One that I thought got back was the actual one that I thought of O'Brien's that ran probably almost just as good was Val and Declare back in the field. Super, not suited at the distance. Oh, probably suited at the distance. I think it's 1, but I reckon that's back on track for a pretty good campaign again.
Last 200 metres of the race.
So yeah, it went super, I thought. And Kings Will Dream also good as well. Probably going back to a Turnbull again. A lot of wraps around Master of Wine. Obviously, Caulfield Cup's its aim. Nothing from really me. Held its ground well. Soci Bond super again. Back at its home track. Trained on course. Box ticket there.
Shane, Ollie's ride on Russian Camelot, thoughts?
Could have easily sort of snicked after being tardy away and save it for another day, but there was intent there to win, which is what you'd expect, I suppose, in a Group 1. But the opportunity to snick it and forget and come back and say it was a forgive run was certainly presented early. Rode it to win. The two best horses fought it out. One had a better run than the other, I think, is probably how I saw it. Fierce Impact is just a Group 1 mile winner in Victoria for fun, and was able to beat a horse that had a tougher run.
Yeah, I thought in run, which is the way I think you should judge rides, I was very, very happy with the 4 wide position, building momentum. I didn't think they were going as slow as they were. The only critique you could have in hindsight, which is irrelevant because they don't get the opportunity to clock it like this, is he probably could have rolled forward and led. But if he had some of the commentary was ridden at Calder and looked for cover, he would just be another good run like Bound Declare or Kings Will Dream and not contended the race. So from the wide draw, the way the race shaped, if Quick Thinker doesn't kick up and he can just roll a little bit further across, he probably wins. So I think the ride was outstanding. I think the horse is outstanding. I think it's aimed at a Cox plate, and I think it will be winning. And I think they've learnt that the horse has got a good amount of tactical speed. It certainly didn't give up the ghost. It was probably stronger than the winner through the line. So big performance, Russian Camelot. Spoken about Fierce Impact. Josh, what did you make of Soci Bond's run? I sort of thought the mile, it's gone as good as anything in this race outside the first two.
Yeah, I think it just loves probably likes the slower run tempo. Just it's done well. I think it's done well at the mile. Can't really pot it. It goes well at Flemington. I remember that run when it won. I think it broke its duck there in the Ori Star 2019. That was obviously over 1200. But
30s in row.
It loves Flemington, but it doesn't. It's not that it doesn't love Caulfield either. It's just an honest runner. What a horse to own. I saw the silks had changed. Hadn't changed ownership, had it? You wouldn't want to be. The thing just racks up a lot of prize money.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to be selling it.
I think it was suited by the slower tempo. Kings Will Dream, boys. Any thoughts yet? Looks on track for a Turnbull to me.
What does it need to win the Turnbull though? Sort of just it's a bit of a tease.
It just needs to be ridden with intent, which is like classic Waller, third up to 2000, draws inside. All of a sudden it lands midfield instead of last. Right in the race, I think. That's my read on Kings Will Dream. But there's a good chance Russian Camelot's in the Turnbull, and if it is, I don't think anything from this race can beat it.
Is Russian Camelot going to the Turnbull or the Underwood?
I'm not sure, but it makes sense to go to Turnbull or the Underwood. So
interesting for futures markets players on those two fields because they've both got Russian Camelot in them as a favourite if you're into that sort of a thing.
Master of Wine Curls, thoughts? How good is it?
I think pretty well summed it up. It's good enough. It's going to be thereabouts, isn't it? It's I don't know. I always get a little bit confused with horses' ability compared to what Wayne says about their horses. So hard being a Queenslander and trying to, add 2 and 2 together and see if you do come up with 4 sometimes with a narrative. I'll just let the horse do the talking. Jack?
Peter, what are you going to do with Master of Wine? I thought this was like a pretty strong performance. It's really, really hard to overly stamp anything either way, how slow they've gone. But its work through the line was a pass mark, I thought.
It's a pass. It's not a great pass. It's almost a conceded pass, to be honest. I'd be asking Master of Wine to come back for a little bit of extra education over the next couple of weeks. Try and elevate it up. Look, there's going to be better horses. I think it's going to run into this spring, and it hasn't necessarily shown anything previously on a really fast tempo that's got me up and about. So just a horse for me. Might prove me wrong, but what else is new? Shall we go to race 4? We've got a question from Tigsy, otherwise known as TS Ratings. Bold Star, was he just unsuited by the slow tempo? Forgive. And then dollar for dollar, is it backing up next week in the Rupert Clark? And if so, can he figure?
Who wants to take that, boys?
I'll start with saying I think dollar for dollar I think it is backing up. I saw on Trav Noonan's likely fields for the Rupert Clark. It looks like it's there. There was no jockey sign though. I thought Bold Star, like box ticker sectionally for me, amazing. Like just did the same. Just wasn't suited by the pace, obviously. I thought a horse that I love, but it's just way out of its grade here, like terribly out of the handicap. Rock Profit, I think you're the same as well as me, Jack.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are they doing with this horse? Like, put it in it's not a Group 2 horse, but like maybe listed at very,
we backed this
listed
into
over
win
handicap.
a maiden at Sandown. We took 21s.
Yeah.
And it lost. It ran second.
Yeah. And it's just, it's good, but God, they've put it way out of its grade. Open handicaps, second in 2 benchmark 90 and an open handicap at Flemington. Just drop it back to that, for God's sake. Like, it's not going to run. Yeah, it's not going to run up to Group 2 standard.
I think Bold Star went too quick. He went 2.8 lengths quicker here than at Caulfield, and he's recorded a slower overall time. So he's run a 13.3 overall at Caulfield and a 10.1 here. He's 2 from 3 down the Flemington straight, so he handles the straight. The other time he ran second. They were both off walks, or all 3 runs were off walks. I think the slower they go, the more dynamic this horse is late. Like, it can hit speeds that not many horses can hit, but it was somewhat dowered, and I think it's pretty clear by the fact that it's recorded a slower overall, even though it went quicker at the start time here. I think it's better suited when they walk, Bold Star.
At that point.
Yeah, but where's he going to get? Where do you go with that horse like that? Then when, like, in the springtime over 1100, like where are they walking?
I think if they stay at Flemington, they'll find races where they walk more often than not. If they go to Caulfield, they'll get faster run races because they all charge for that spot, then they charge to the bend, then they charge home. Whereas at Flemington, it's just a raffle to how fast they go down the straight each and every time, in my opinion.
Down the straight is like, I reckon, 60 to 70% of the time they're just absolute walks. Like that one that it was in last time was like, it was like on the old benchmarks by punting for him. It was like 15 lengths slow in like a listed or a group race.
Yeah,
it's just like, it's almost like farcical. Like it's actually just boring as well because it's got no. You want to find those horses with like a Pippi with tactical speed as well. Like they're the ones that are really good that you see. But like these sit and sprint things are just tricky. But I saw someone commented on the weekend about it on Twitter and saying, now with the big moods back, you might have some truly run races down the straight. Let fast horses run fast.
Yeah.
I like it. Like letting fast horses run fast. So does
Is it Tory? Anyone want to make a comment on the actual winner?
Just
greatest first up trainers ever.
They are so good fresh. Mark Zara, elite riding. He's rode outstanding on Saturday. I thought probably missed an opportunity here to bet this horse. Great ride. Bunch finish though. Hard to sort of figure out this race moving forward. I would say Zutori and, like we've just said, Ellis and Zara are really dynamic fresh. Zutori's regressed the last 2 times second up, so I try and be against it next start just because the market will find it off this win and profile it's building. I think it'll be vulnerable next start if it sort of steps up or even stays in this sort of grade.
Okay, let's move to race 8, the Danehill Stakes over 1200. We're speaking about almost fluctuating speeds down to Flemington Straight. Well, they've gone very fast here, minus 11 or 11 lengths fast on the adjusted figures. They've still gone 6.5 lengths fast for the class, which is just exceptional speed. Question from Tommy Hardy. Ranting has a lot of talent, has been a bit slower out of the barriers last 2 starts. Looked like he sat as barriers open on Saturday. Can you see them going for the headgear next start?
I think that the camp needs headgear, not the horse. Back the horse the last 3 starts. It's been enormous every time. I think like this is where racing is evolving, but slowly. Renting, whilst it sat in the same position in run, this start as it did last start when it was sneaked and ridden against its pattern without change of tactics. We won't talk about that too much. It's gone 6.2 lengths faster than 600 here. It's increased its tempo dramatically and still got through the line pretty nicely. It looked like it was going to win to me. We backed the winner, thank God. The only bet we had for movers all day, but we also backed Ranting from the yard, and I really thought it was going to win. The way it's getting through the line, the way it's run these last 2 races, there's no way on earth the stable will ever try and be positive with the horse, even though they don't understand that they went so much quicker here. Like if he went this pace at Caulfield, he would have been leading that race and would have won. I think the horse got proper upside, and he seems to get a great price each and every time. So you can probably just keep backing it.
Josh, the winner, Doubtland, proper splits we saw in its first prep, especially in that second start, which was the kindergarten. It's just produced a 6-length PB there on the weekend. Where's the limit for Doubtland?
Sky's the limit. I don't know are they taking it. What is the path they're taking? Are they taking it guineas possibly? I don't know. I'm not actually sure. I'm not.
Or the Coolmore's like probably the other obvious target would be one or the other.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there you go. It's trained. Hawks trains on course. So love Flemington. Love that straight. It's got the straight track form now. I thought Prague was super given the strong pace. It's gone super first up, so it's going to be It's going to come on with fitness super. So go find something with not a whole lot of speed in the race. Not too much speed. It's one off. It's one off slow to even tempos previously up in Sydney. Just another Sydney horse that's going to probably give us a shellacking in the spring.
I do think my theory on the Sydney horses like this weekend is they're coming off fast run races on good tracks. Like they had one firm track, and all these 3 horses sort of came near it. Well,
Can we just decide? Is it Queensland form or Sydney form? September run. Are you taking it, Curly?
The Queensland form's been massively underrated for a long time. We saw it again on Saturday where one travels south of the border and wins. You blokes get all shocked. It's just another day for us. Queensland is renowned for it. All types of sports.
Should we talk about Rothfire?
Shortly. Let's finish the Melbourne preview first.
I was going to say, there was also another Queenslander in this race, or former Queenslander in Wisdom of Water. What's happened to that horse? That horse was on track to be the biggest sprute in Queensland for a while and hasn't quite come back by the looks.
I think every horse that was on pace in this race stopped pretty quickly. The interesting runner here is Extra Time. It was good at Caulfield, and it's probably the best of those on speed here. So despite its big sort of SP profile, it looks like a horse with decent ability and good tactical speed.
Yeah, big fan of Extra Time.
11 lengths, out 11 lengths quick. Wisdom of Water.
Yeah,
it's faster than Farnan went.
Queensland trumps again.
Yeah.
So this is now trained by Mick Price, so it's no longer a Queenslander. This horse.
So you're saying there would have been a Queensland Quinella if this had run in the Farnan race? Would have
if this horse was in Farnan's race, it would have given Farnan something to just relax behind potentially.
Interesting. Yeah. Theoretical racing.
Yeah, theoretical racing, isn't it wonderful?
Look, he was a hard-going horse when he was up here when Edmonds had it, and I wasn't surprised to see it sort of charge down, on Saturday. So better for the experience, possibly, hey? Needs a bend, better for the experience. I'm sure we can toss up all those things.
Yeah.
Trainer talk.
All right, Dickens. Anything else you want to follow out of Flemington?
The horses we've touched on. I think Kigsy makes a good point with dollar for dollar. If it backs up, it's well placed. Went well in that race last year. I think it ran second. Russian Camelot, beast. Further the better. I do think this extra time, if it gets back to Caulfield, if it gets to Caulfield or Moonee Valley, it's going to probably be its favourite to be suited and probably runs a good race, and you're probably going to get a good price to go each way.
Josh, a couple
extra time.
Josh, a couple for yourself to follow.
I really liked the run in race number 9 of Swat Stat. I think the horse will probably want further. It's probably going to go to the Guineas, the 1,000 Guineas. I actually don't mind it for that. I thought Menage was super as well in the race.
What about Willow? Willow literally like pinched that race.
Yeah.
Those two were like racing each other. Johnny's sitting on Swat's that. Knows he's got plenty of pony. They're walking.
Yeah.
Willow's just up and gone. He's 20 metres away from him inside. Very sneaky behaviour from Willow. Pinched the race. Great riding.
Pinched the race.
And no fault, John Allen. Like he's got Menage in front of him. He can't see it.
Says that he was September run out really wide during the race?
Down the inside fence.
It says it's come across and pinched it up the inside. Yeah, interesting data from Punting Form. Another good point in Punting Form. They do the wide starter. If you got a subscription, you can look at where the horses were in the straight.
Yeah, important stuff. All right, let's go up to Queensland. Alligator Blood, girls. You want to just mention what this horse was doing market-wise in run? Has Alan made any comments? Have you spoken to the great man?
Haven't spoken to him. Muted him on Twitter as well. I don't know what's been said since. One thing about Queensland I've noticed recently becoming, I'm not sure whether it's a fad or it's a trend, but just tell the stewards and tell everyone what you're doing before you do it, and then you can get away with it. So we had DVD say Thursday, Friday in any interview, David Van Dyke flashing his good bloke card and getting on all the media to talk about his horse. Happy to see it run in the top 3. Just happy to see it hit the line. Just happy to see it hit the line, and then we'll work out where we go from there. We'll go to Sydney, either Everest or the Golden Eagle. Beautiful barrier trial, wasn't it, from Alligator Blood? Absolutely no money for it.
None.
Like zero.
Winner backed heavy.
We discussed this race on the preview show, and the more I discuss the race and the more I look at it, I just think map, tempo, everything suits. This thing will lob 4th one off and just piss in. And then the absolute avalanche of money's come for the Odyssey on the day. I'm not sure whether you've got the data there, Pete, to back that up for me, but sort of mapped a fair bit of speed in this race. I thought they'd go
lickety split.
Yeah, lickety split. We had horses like Catesby, Mr. Marbaloo's, Fiery Heights, and the Odyssey itself, which don't mind burning along in front. I thought they went at a controlled tempo. Once the Odyssey found the fence and Fiery Heights found the position outside it, they all grabbed hold. And meanwhile, Alligator Blood was just tight on the rein at the start, had a nice grip on him, let him find his position and sort of amble around in behind them. Was never winning. What do you say? Like for those that sort of labelled him a good thing on the data and on the map, you were dead before you even bet. Brilliant barrier trial. Won't be dropping off him. David Van Dyke was on radio this morning, I think, Monday morning, saying the Golden Eagle is the race for it now, and the Everest off the agenda. He did parade with a bit left in the tank, but he certainly wasn't there to win. Is what my notes say in Punting Form.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Honest, clear, precise. Righto. How good's the winner? Because it's beaten Alligator Blood. We like Just Norm each way. It's run an okay race, but the winner sort of killed him. Can we follow it? Or is it just sort of like a perfect setup, market found it, crunch, bang, soft lead, win? against him start?
Look, he's been a good horse through its juvenile campaign, the Odyssey. Just I suppose, it's mid-September, sort of a little bit away from the summer still. Like, I think where that horse is suited around Doomben, where he can just jump on the bunny and dictate, the horse is going to be hard to beat. I sort of thought, like, this is its go though. Like, I didn't think it's going to get much further than this. Like, I wouldn't have it in a sort of good tempo 1,200 metre race. So it sort of found its race today. Saturday. Just Orm's always a horse that I thought was more suited to 1,000, 1,050. I thought the 1,110 was was right on its distance limit. So look, it's sort of hard to label any horses to follow because every race is so different from week to week, and it's just the setup, and whichever horse the market finds gets the best run.
Josh, you would have liked Alligator Blood's sectional splits, wouldn't you?
It was very sexual, but it's the obvious though. It's obviously a very good horse. 1,100 probably not going to be suited, but as Curly said, the maps it's a lottery sometimes. Thought Just Ormy was very good, wasn't it? Again, I've actually heard some of the owners had sold out of that before Ormy put a couple together. So they'd be absolutely filthy.
Trying to brought
yeah.
it. What? I think the trainer took the other half of the horse that the owners sold out of.
Smart man, Tony. Let's put a couple together.
Interesting that the sectional time there, Bandipur ran the fastest last 200 of the event. It got dropped. Well, not got dropped, but it settled a lot further back, so it was probably entitled to run on. But
his horse went to Lumming, didn't it? After Cummings, Bandipur never went well. Now gone up to Queensland. Just another Mexican.
Queensland.
We're just too good up there, aren't we?
Queensland,
son, you improve lengths, mate.
What are you claiming yourself as a Queenslander now?
No, I'm just saying, as an ex-Victorian.
Josh.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm saying Bandipur was an ex-Mexican. We're trying to claim it for us.
Okay, righto. Just checking.
We got to claim ours, like Curly's trying to claim his in every state.
State versus state, etc.
The only other, I mentioned earlier about how you just declare your intentions and then it's okay to do what you want. The Waller stable had the multiple runners in the last race as well and declared intention with Santoro Rosso. Sorry, how do you pronounce it? Setono Racing.
El Romilly.
It was to be the bunny this week and sent to the front. Surprisingly, the stablemate settled back and won the race. Well, I couldn't label it because I also thought that Aliferous would be suited from the tactic change as well. And interesting to note, if you're looking for a horse to follow out of that event, the third of the Chris Waller runners, Elward, with the top weight in the race, he decided to sit 3 deep on it, and he was still boxing on at the end. So
when you think that they're going to set it up, you'd think that Ronnie Stewart on Santono Razin would go as quick as he could.
I thought he would have went a bit quicker. Controlled sectionals.
He's taken out the Turtle Award this week, Curly, in Queensland. Unbelievable. You think he's just going to set a light up there? No, exactly. He's gone 3.3 below the all average benchmark. Very, very slow.
I thought they call him Rock and Ronnie. Why don't they call him Rock and Ronnie?
You might be thinking of Ronnie Goltz at Toowoomba, eh?
Oh, yeah, that's the wrong. You got too many Ronnies.
Gentleman jock Ronnie Stewart, the gentleman jock. But pretty much just a ho-hum sort of day in Queensland, really. Alligator Blood was the one that we're all sort of interested to watch, and they got it spot on.
Now, Shane Ciurleo, what was your reaction at the 400-metre point of the run to the Rose? Were you up and about like all those other Queenslanders we've seen on socials, just yelling and screaming and
just roaring home the Maroons?
Groping Rothfire's connections and just giving a bit of social distancing just to each other, just getting right into it?
Yeah, no, I wasn't. But I want to take this opportunity to say I was wrong. I did think that the My Runners team went off a bit early in selecting this horse prior to the whatever race that was on Saturday that it won. I didn't realise at the time, though, they did have a get-out clause that if the horse did fail on Saturday, they had the opportunity to boot it from its slot.
Oh, that's key information. That's key because it might have been wound right up.
So I wasn't aware of that, when I made a couple of outlandish statements that the horse was only a restricted Queensland 2-year-old winner and they might have gone a bit early. Well done to everyone that involved that identified this horse's ability. The Thriller from Chinchilla. What a horse. Oh, I loved it. I was up and about. Now, look, I think I spoke about this a few weeks ago. In the ho-hum sort of winter months when the punts are grind and the horses are shit and all the good jocks are on holidays, you do lose your passion a little bit for the sport. And I think, seeing this horse go down to Queensland and all the hype and conjecture that, that in the lead up to the race and then, what the events that we saw on the track, I think it reinvigorated me anyway. It certainly sort of rekindled my passion for it. I certainly didn't go spraying myself with champagne and dry humping me mate's leg next to me or anything like that. But, good on them for pulling it off. Rob Heathcote's travelling main girl there, Mel Sharp. She travelled buffering and she's travelled Rothfire now and got great results. So that's great for her. Really big effort. And look, it's great for racing to have the cat amongst opinions in Sydney anyway. There are all those, the Sydney Blue Bloods get around there with their polished balls waiting to go to stud and the Queenslanders gone down there and kicked them fair in the nuts. It's great for racing.
Yeah, I mean, how can you possibly follow on with that? Outstanding.
Anyway, go Rothfire. It'll win the Everest. It'll win the Coolmore. It'll win whatever it goes to.
You've completely stuffed it now, haven't you? It can't win anything from here. So
yeah, we've ruined racing.
Yeah. Shall we? I just want to just indulge me for about 30 seconds because Belmont really doesn't take any longer than that. It was an awful meeting. It was horrendous.
How many more have you got on the that track? Because it's starting to kick up badly.
I don't know. Hopefully not very much or very many. But I just want to make note of the one interesting race was race 8, which was Long Beach versus This'll Test You, this versus Condor Heroes. Now they've only gone even to the 600. Everyone was thinking they might end up in single file. It could be that much electricity in the tempo of this race. It didn't eventuate that way. In fact, it looked quite comfortable for a few of the horses. But how's this for a sectional split? From the 800 to the 600, and this is a 1,000-metre race. Condor Heroes, who was leading, went 10.04. This'll Test You went 9.94. Now, it's difficult to see it on the replay because it's a head-on, but you can actually see This'll Test You just really kicking up. Probably went a little bit too quick in that early split, and then they both fell to pieces, thankfully for us who backed Long Beach heavily late. Just magnificent. Bon voyage.
That was a big bet, wasn't
it? Yeah. I think the market really just crushed it late. There was a few. If you had a look at the data for the horse previously, last preparation, Long Beach looks like it's got a heap of ability. And given that it was only a benchmark 66, you think, it's not that much of a victory. But yeah, I think some of these horses will get to far better grade than that. Dickens, the Turtle Award, the Valium Award, courtesy of Kelsey 23.
This is unbelievable. Jay Mott on Harlem in the Makybe Diva, Group 1 weight for age, has gone the slowest all day to the 600 on the puntingform.com.au all average benchmarks. He's gone 0.7 above the all average. It's incredibly slow for that great a race, and it's the slowest on the card. Unbelievable. We spoke about Ronnie, Rock and Ron, Huey, the gentleman, whatever Curls calls him. James Van Overmeer, 8 lengths slower than benchmark in race 3 at Rose Hill on Mercurial Lad. Big effort from James. Slower than the highway. Like,
are you anglicising his name? Jean Van Overmeer.
I changed it to James. I don't know. We've got James here.
What?
Van Overmeer. It went real slow. And in Perth, Romilly went 14.4. 14.4. What are they on over there, Pete? 14.4 slow to the 600 on Regal Dividend in race 2.
Yeah, well, they're just not very fast horses. Yeah,
So
something's
they
got
call
to
him Holy Romoly. Oh, there's another one. They call him the Radar Romoly. Fucking definitely not the Radar.
The human stopwatch.
Shout out to Kate.
Okay. Let's get to
apologies to Jean. Didn't mean to call you James, bro. Didn't mean that.
Jean. We'll get to the biggest bet races, both pre and in play. Pre-play was race 8 at Belmont. That was the Long Beach race, 413,000. Doomben race 8, Alligator Bloods race, no surprise, just under 600,000. Group 1 at Flemington, the Makybe Diva, 1.17 million matched. Compare that with Rose Hill. The most matched in a race was 800,000. That was the Fatus Masked Crusader, Shamozzle. And then at Morford was race 9, 550,000 matched. And that was the race won by Instant Celebrity. Horses backed pre-play. Bronze goes to Fasika, which lost. Max price of $3.60, jumped $2.64, Betfair starting price.
Oh,
Silver was Windstorm. It lost, which was 666,000. Max price $2.94, jumped $2.28.
Oh!
And gold, Masked Crusader lost. Max price $2.84, jumped $2.02, 707,000 matched on Betfair. So the market just...
That's my favourite part of the show now. I love that, hearing that stuff.
Just death riding. Now, before we get into the in-play, the horses trading in play, we had a really good question from Cosy again, Paul Cosm. I noticed on Sky, Farnan ran a mid-race 10.2 second split on Saturday, which I calculated in play as being roughly 10 to 11 lengths fast to the 600, which is actually pretty close by Cosy. That was well done. As a result, it peaked on its run and got overrun by Rothfire, who was trailing 5 to 6 lengths. What it looked like to me was Rothfire was more in its comfort zone and had more in the tank late than Farnan, who was flying up front. As a result, in the next race, I backed Wild Planet from midfield, who I had as one of my main chances at $7 in play, as Fender was also travelling fast up front, approximately 10.8 second splits, and subsequently got the win. My question is, with 200-metre splits on the TV during the race, can you help me find more in-play opportunities to back/lay horses using these splits? And can you provide any examples of your own success with this in the past?
We certainly can't provide you with any examples of anything to do with racing in Victoria, because we don't have trials on TV and we don't have sectional times on the TV at the moment. Unbelievable. But
it's inconsistent. Every now and then there's a sectional split and then it seems to break all of a sudden.
Yeah. Donald Picnic meeting, you might get a split on the screen and think, why have we got that over Flemington?
Yeah, let alone the Ciurleo.
I think they should get that back on. If racing.com, anyone from there is listening, it's just like essential to sort of see that. We get it with Sky, so why wouldn't you have it on their thing?
I do like with Sky how they have the numbers and where they are.
Yeah, the tracker system.
I love that.
It's getting better as well.
People tune into like Sydney and what do I on here? Because I'll bet whatever Rob said. I'm on the 7 or whatever, and I can find where it is in the run. I love it.
I bet in Queensland. What are you talking about? Sectional times on the screen.
Technology.
I don't get it. The closest we have is when Dave Fowler calls. We have 2 callers in Queensland. when Dave Fowler calls, he'll often call the first 600 metres, which I really enjoy. I think his calls are informative, where other callers just scream the horses' names for 1,200 metres. So, yeah, we can't really add a lot there to help from experience, but I think one of the first things you've got to do is make sure that what you're looking at's the right data, because you often see you do often see, well, I've seen a couple of examples anyway on .com where they'd certainly look to be going quicker than what they show on the screen. So,
and I think what Curly's saying about the commentators is right. Matty Hill's a pretty good judge. Terry Bailey's a good judge of how quick they've gone. And to the point that we need to make, though, is if you do want to bet and run, say it's a 400-metre race, you need to make your decision by the sort of 600 at the latest. Because you're swimming with sharks at the end, and especially if you're watching on TV, you're a little bit behind. So if you think the race is going to set up for the horse that you like, you can still make your decision, and that's where the in-play is outstanding, because you'll get close to SP more often than not, and you think the race is setting up nicely for your horse. So
yeah, I think
with the Rothfire reference, you think, oh, this is beautiful. We've got like the good pace. This is going to suit us. Make your decision and leave it. Don't chase it.
I think they had a good point. I was at Ipswich on Thursday on course, and after a couple of races, just made a decision that I was burning the form guide, and it was just rails in run. So reassessed and did the maps, and then once they've jumped and grabbed a position, to bet there. And then if you want to take it to the next level, and you do have access to that sectional times on the coverage, I definitely agree with you. I think you're taking those positions before the corner, because it's a very competitive market, the last 400.
Yeah, I think if you want to back horses that are going to run on, it doesn't so much matter what times at all they run. It's if they run, say a 12-second section from the 10 to the 8, and then the 8 to the 6, but then they run, this is dramatic, a 13 from the 6 to the 4 to try and get a breather. The horses at the midfield or worse will still run a 12, and they'll catch up that difference and have that momentum. That's when a race will suit the swooper. If they go like 12.5, 12.4, 12.3, 12.2, it's a lot harder for the horses to make up ground. It doesn't matter if it's a 12.2 or 11.2 or 10.2. It's about maintaining or changing that speed. Allows the horses to catch up for doing no more work.
And there's a horse profiling to it as well. So a horse that might lead like Farnan did on the weekend, sometimes they can pinch those. A good horse will pinch that. Like Nature Strip could have that and run that time. But nothing's going to come over the top because it's just got that energy. That's its run style, and that's going to finish off. So you can't really just say you can't make it a blanket rule of the sectionals as well. Some horses are going to have a better a profiling to that sort of scenario. So you got to be careful of that. Otherwise, if you're sort of laying those front runners off a fast tempo that just seems like it's too hard to maintain, you could actually end up with your head in the oven.
And that Farnan race is a great example, mate, because. Only because the world champion Rothfire put the leader away so quickly. The others back in the field, they were laying out, swishing tails. They were completely gassed, just trying to keep up. And when you look back at the margin, a few of those horses didn't get past Farnan either, and a couple that didn't sort of go rocketing past it either. So. That race is a great example of what you say about, horses with high cruising speeds that can break the horses back in the field that are chasing out of their comfort zone as well.
Yeah. Great,
it's not so clear cut.
All right, so we'll just touch on the horses, the top three for the most matched in play this week. Bronze was Leading Girl, which was a very short commodity at Belmont and finally won a race. Silver was Cadre du Noir, which lost. There was 52,000 matched on that horse in the first race at Rose Hill. And then gold was Frankie Pino in Morfettville, which did manage to win, but there was just under 59,000 matched in play. So bit of big trading there.
I remember that race. It stuck out because I was watching that race for some reason. I was at the races and I was watching it. And it looked like pissing in the whole way. The caller never picked it up. The caller was called it sort of trying to get out, And to me, it was already out and making ground, but he sort of called it and then sort of went back through the rest of the field and then went back to the leaders. By the time he's got there, it was just over the top. Clearly. I didn't have my trigger finger.
You got to be ready all the time. That's what I keep telling sites.
Not at Morford. Don't know the horses.
I think Brett Davis still thinks he's commentating or calling in Hong Kong sometimes. He just thinks that the horses are going either faster or the fields are bigger or the horses are better than what he's actually seeing in front of him. But
it's probably the clockwise, anti-clockwise thing.
The race caller effect on in plays. Like is there anything bigger? I don't know. You imagine trying to bet in play off the radio at Dubbo.
Not with what's his name? What's his name, that bloke?
Old mate.
The goat, they call him.
Old mate, he's known as. I don't know.
All right, Curly, what do you got on this week, mate?
I'm betting, surprisingly enough. I'll be betting. Tell you what, a couple have come up in the nominations on Thursday and Tuesday, which is outside of my zone. Yeppoon Tuesday, a couple have come up.
Oh!
Not sure whether everyone knows where Yeppoon is. And Townsville on Thursday. Eagle Farm Wednesday. I'm fully expecting a David Van Dyke to win a few races at Eagle Farm on Wednesday. He's got a couple of well-placed commodities. And then, Saturday's Gold Coast. Dolby is my main meeting Saturday. I'm going to be on track at Dolby. It should be a great day. So I'm betting at all the places no one knows about, and I look forward to everyone coming with me on the journey.
Oh, bloody hell.
Did I mention Kilcoy Friday? The Moonee Valley of the North?
Isn't that where they're holding the Cox Plate?
There, so I could just lose me mind.
Aren't they holding the Cox Plate there this year? Cox Plate's Kilcoy.
I believe the Kilcoy Turf Club were angling with COVID that they were going to move the Cox Plate to Kilcoy, but they weren't able to pull it off.
Pinching the grand final and the Cox Plate. What a barn.
Oh, goodness, mate.
Dickens, you've got Bendigo on Wednesday and then the Rupert Clark on Saturday.
Yeah, good. It's a good meeting at Bendigo. It always is a good meeting. This one, I look forward to that actually. Starting to heat right up. Probably a decent meeting on Friday at Geelong too, which we might do a bit of action at.
Yeah.
Caulfield Saturday's fat. Now we've got Flemington next Wednesday week. So look forward to that too.
Good. Josh?
Next week, not this week, but next week, we'll probably be betting Wednesday, Flemington, Thursday, Sale, Friday, the Valley, which is just going to really hit home again that we're not allowed to go. Caulfield the Saturday, and then Mornington on the Sunday, which is just up the road. Again, it's going to suck, but whatever. A lot of people doing it worse, blah, blah, blah.
Good. Josh, it's a pleasure having you on board. We'll get you back on a preview, I'm sure. But today's been fun getting a bit more of the data angle on board. So thank you for joining.
Cheers, guys. Been a pleasure.
And to everyone at home, go well. Enjoy the week. Thank you to puntingform.com.au and our wagering content provider with all the grouse data. Big thanks to Dill at Betfair for that.
The SP ad's been huge there.
Yeah.
Seeing what they've done, where they've ended up. I love it. Righto, that's us. Have a good week. Bye-bye.